Hey y'all, what's up? I just wanted to give you a reminder about the Nate Robinson case and how these women boycotted the movie, not because of the crime that he did not do, but because he had a Caucasian girlfriend. These B-Fems, the B-Fems, right? All right, so let's get the thumbs up to donate. My PayPal me link will be in the description box. And for those of you that know from the other, from when I first posted this, I don't have no love for Nate or Rose as a result of this. Because while I think they didn't commit a crime and they were railroaded, or there was an attempt to falsely have regrets, right? I am just as disgusted at them for their conduct with the women and their mentality. You know, that single mom raised um, good for nothing thinking perverted mentality when it comes to how you deal with women. That's not real man stuff. When y'all I get into the story, I call it real other stuff, but it ain't real man stuff. All right. So let's get into this. I'm more concerned about why the B-Films boycotted the movie, and it was not because of the act where it should have been. But then most of them are down for the kind of act that they performed on the other women. We'll get into that. All right, but what they did was disgusting, not illegal, not a crime, and a court of Caucasian jury, a Caucasian court, found that to be so. So let's get into this. All right, as you know, when I first did this video, he didn't get a pass from me, nor did he deserve one. All right, I'm still disgusted at his behavior. All right, but the point to this was these false allegations after the fact, false, right? But we didn't know how often they were happening. What we found out later on, maybe a month or two ago, is that since the time I did this video, the false allegations risen to 75% of people are being exonerated because it's just bull. And we're tired of the back in slavery. The Caucasian man did this. No, we also learned that many of the B-Fems gave themselves up willingly. Some were accosted and violently assaulted, but many for an advantage, and they ended up owning more slaves than Caucasian women. There was a greater number of Caucasian women that owned slaves, but when you looked at how many slaves that the B-Fems got, they outnumbered the amount of slaves they got outnumbered the Caucasian women. All right, so let's not be just blind to all this. The main crux of why the B-Fems got upset was they saw this man with a Caucasian woman. Period. He picked a Caucasian woman as his woman. I still have no love for him, although I think he should have and have that right, because he never really had the support of the B-Fems. He was raised by one, and as he was raised by one, what they did was disgusting. But what's also disgusting to me is no matter how innocent of charges a man may be, if he's a Afro man that decide to get someone that wants him, understanding the B-Fem don't, the B-Fem is going to be up in arms. That's my problem. So let me just say this. He was getting hit on a bunch of sides. There was three things that I dealt with. That's the fem agenda, the false charges, and basically his own conduct, right? Which was just abysmal, right? Um, and you have this woman, Sharon Lawfer, that had a problem with things in it, and she clearly is not about true history, and and this is the crux of everything, right? This it was a movie that was attacked because nobody is allowed to really portray one of the icons that actually fought for freedom in the way that they actually fought. All right. And you have it, right? And you had a lot of other stuff that came out doing this. All right. Hopefully y'all remember some of it.
All right, and there's another report on the Daily Beast about the rape case, and I'm gonna put this in the description box. If y'all don't see it there, remind me. All right, buck breaking to the white people and black women who don't understand what buck breaking is. They took the strongest man, whipped him, and kept on whipping him, and kept on whipping him until he couldn't move. Bloodied, and he could not move. All right. Then they put him over a stump, and then a white man pulled down his trousers, and guess what came next? They pulled down the black man's trousers, and the white man pulled down his trousers, and guess what came next? Oh, and then the white men had sex forms of boys where they castrated them, and then guess what came next? Yes, that's what they did to the black men and the black boys. And Dr. DeGoy, all right, in one of her lectures, she pointed out that in reading one of the slave narratives from a female, the female slaves said that they witnessed more black men being raped by the white men than black women being raped. Oh, a whole lot of black women were having sex, but many were having sex to get an advantage over other black women. All right, to have the master's child so that they can manipulate that child and grow that child up to be slave owners, but subservient to the master. Now, keep in mind that your black slave owners, by biblical definition of the word black, would not have been black. They would have been white. Why? Because the vast majority, in a high 90% of slave owners during slavery that were black were mulatto. Okay, now if you know anything else about the mulattoes, right? You know that they're the product of white man, black woman. That's who your black slave owners were. And they were called black because of the 1% or one drop black blood. All right. And what I'm saying is they're white because biblically you are who your father is. All right. So I don't take white people's definitions for anything because they don't define things correctly. They change the definitions depending on how they want to emasculate people, denigrate people, or subjugate people. All right. So now that's all about that little rape scene, right? Now, the Daily Beast, I want y'all to go read this, right? And I'm going to give you the breakdown real quick. Basically, what this dude did was a Derrick Rose. And that's how he ended up in the situation he ended up in. The white girl was liking him. He was liking the white girl. Oh, but no. Product of probably a single mother like Derrick Rose, who put BET and gangsta everything on TV. All right. Where there was no real good man father figure, where a lot of these black boys see not good men run in and out of the house where they could learn something from. They see thugs, drug dealers, people with weed, wine, whiskey, scissor, embalming fluid, wet, handlebars. That they see those people running in and out of their house. And so then they get them spirits and act like them to when they grow up and go to college, they do some of the same depraved, foolish garbage. And that's why I said he don't get a pass in my book. And he's a sellout. So let's get to the sellout real quick. And I'm going to close with him because I'm not done with him yet. Because he's like another person. All right. He's a sellout because He did what most every black person do that creates something. They sell it to the white man so that he could have rights over the work of black people in perpetuity, so that he could do whatever he wants with that film after it gets played. Which means put it away so that it would never see the light of day. Or which means make sure that it don't come up in the future. All right, this dude sold out his film to Rupert Murdoch for $20 million, and everybody like, oh, he made $20 million. So no, that ain't no kind of money to give away your legacy, which only goes to show you this dude was for sale to begin with. All right, so he might win an Academy Award. I don't care. No one should care about that. What people should care about is his conduct and the fact that another coon sold out black creativity and a black story to a white man. And then these Hollywood actors wonder why black people don't respect them. All right, so basically this is what's up. All right, so that's why I call them sellout. Okay, that's two. All right, now we're going to get into the third thing, right? And as to why I'm not letting this clown off the hook. All right, now this clown, when you read that story by the Daily Beast, right? This dude is a beast, and I don't care what he doing now, what he's saying. He have tarnished his legacy at a young age. There are certain things that you do that are just downright evil. All right, and he did not rape this woman, but there is certain things that you do that is downright evil and disgusting. And one of them is to pick up the white ways of doing things. All right, and I'll explain that in a minute. So this dude is whited out. He's a sellout. Literally, he's a sellout. He sold out a good story of Nat Turner to Rupert Murdoch of Fox, of all people. So that's a sellout. That's why I'm calling him a sellout. Now, for those of you that think I shouldn't have a problem with it, in the comment section, let me know why I shouldn't have a problem that he did that. Outside of he got paid. All right? He got paid with what? He got paid to have something hidden that if Rupert Murdoch never let it be played again, he won't lose a dime on it. He's making money off of so much, he don't need this movie to make money. So why would Rupert Murdoch buy this particular movie? It ain't like he bought the Avengers or something on that caliber that we know is going to be 100 million. This was historical. And he sold his historical studies to Rupert Murdoch. Let me say something about white people that you have to respect. White people will go to the desert and dig something up, and no matter what the value, what its value is, they will say, no, it has no price. We're going to put it in a museum so everybody can see it forever, or as long as they're living, or as long as the museum is up. You understand? This is white people. A lot of times they have reverence for their history. They don't put their history up for sale. This Negro did, though. All right. Now, let's get into the problem with what he did in college. The problem in college is Pooh Nanny is always up for sale because these girls are taught by their mothers. That's the way you manipulate men and get paid. You know? Remember this. This is Katina Powell of Breaking Cardinal Rules fame, of the Louisville Cardinal sex scandal fame. This is what she looked like then in the white. That's what she looked like now. All right? And when you look at this, this is a woman that took women on campus that were having sex to get boys to come to the campus. So Nate Parker was a wrestler athlete. How do you think he got to Penn State? Paterno may not have known anything about it, but given the Sandusky incident, yep, he was probably doing what everybody else do. All right? And so these women go on these college campuses, and it's free love, free sex, free drinking. I mean, portrayed in shows like Animal House and stuff like that, right? Okay, and so these athletes become targets. This woman was so serious about it, she involved all three of her daughters. Here's two of them here, the two older ones, and one was underage that she was prostituting to the Louisville basketball team. Right? And so you have this mentality that they're going to use opening their legs to get them what they want by exploiting young boys, right? And then if these boys do not do what they don't want, or if the sex goes the wrong way, and we'll get to more of that in a minute, but if things go the wrong way, then guess what? They got an issue, right? And so with that issue, you know what they do? They do this.
The legitimate safety concern for women in Orange County has police even more outraged about a series of false rape reports in Orlando recently. Police say these reports make it even more difficult to catch the real rapists out there. Channel 9's Mary Nguyen continues our team coverage live from Orlando. Mary?
Detective says this affects everyone. Officers could be out on the streets looking for real suspects, but instead they're looking for imaginary people. Orlando police officers just arrested 18-year-old Samaria Renford and 20-year-old Luisa Martinez for filing a false report. Both women claimed they were raped and then later admitted they made up the story. And now a third arrest warrant has been issued for a third woman who also claims she was raped. Detectives say this is a serious issue and they plan to file charges and ask for restitution if someone lies.
If you're talking about 50 officers that could be working on a case and you know, anywhere from 20 hours to 200 hours on a case, you can do the math from there. It's pretty expensive.
From 2007 to 2010, the state attorney's office says law enforcement agencies filed 241 false reporting cases. 109 of those cases were actually prosecuted. The women who admitted they lied about the rapes gave various reasons as to why they fabricated the story. Renford told authorities her boyfriend cheated on her and she wanted him to take her back. In Martinez's case, reports show she was trying to cover up a car accident. The women who were arrested were charged with a first-degree misdemeanor. They could go to jail for up to a year and may have to pay fines. Reporting live in Orlando, Mary Nguyen, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
They go to jail for a year. The men, Brian Banks, most notably, Duke Lacrosse, the teenage boys that were accused of running a train, they get utterly destroyed for much of the rest of their lives. Most never recover from it. And these women, they get a year in jail. That's it. They'll come back out and they'll do it again. This is going to be what my next string of videos are about. So y'all pay attention. Now, for you single black mothers that care, all right, that's teaching your daughters to do stuff, and have sons and think it won't happen to your sons. Y'all may need to pay attention to these next string of videos coming up. Brothers, pay attention to these next string of videos coming up. This is going to be the first salvo across the bow. All right. So you will be seeing this particular slide again. You will be seeing this particular slide again. All right. And basically, this is what's going on. These women, anything they don't like, they cry rape. You see what I'm saying? And they pretty much, it's a get out of anything by crying rape. The problem is there are women that are actually raped. So just think, something happened to one of my nieces. Something happened to my daughter, right? And the police are tied up and can't investigate it because some other woman, they got other rape cases where women are just jealous and stuff like that. And rape is used as a tool of revenge. Right? Now, these women would like to say it's only 2% of rapes are false rape charges. No, it's 41%. Research by Dr. Eugene Kane with the police department's assistance. And you just heard the news report. 100 were prosecuted. All right, that's a lot of false rape. Okay, some of the reasons: providing alibis, alibi for that accident, seeking revenge. Oh, I'm gonna get my boyfriend back. Obtaining sympathy and attention. All right, and so this is what we have right now, because there is no accountability for women. All right. And many real rapes are happening woman to woman. Really. When I was working as a teacher at some of the schools in a particular school district, you would hear the basketball team say they're going to turn some girl out. And what they would do is go into the bathroom and gang rape that girl. And continue to do it until she turned into a dyke, a lesbian. Period. Till you got to where most of the basketball team of all the high school and middle school schools within this district were mainly, as they say, were mainly lesbianized. Okay? So here we go. I need feminism because if we called it man hate, men wouldn't help us. Now, here is my problem with, and so you'll be seeing this again. We'll get into this a little deeper. Here's my problem with Nate. I compare them to him. Rose, right? And something that the white said as I was reading my comments. He made a reply. He asked a woman a question, right? And the woman didn't answer. All right. I asked the woman, and I think we're talking about the same woman, because basically it's like they don't want good black men, but they don't want black men to go anywhere else. So the question was, what do black men do? All right. If black women if black women want to remain evil and stuff like that, why should we still mess with them? I think those were all along the lines of the question. And if black women didn't want to take accountability for their actions, Why do they have a problem with us going anywhere when they shown they hate us? Something to that effect. I'm pretty sure in the comment section he'll make it. Those were questions I asked the lady, right? And he says, my original statement was a rational request to see more women share the same sentiment as to set themselves apart. This is what I've been asking sisters to do, set themselves apart from black women. Set themselves apart, distinguish themselves, and away from distinguish themselves and away from the behaviors of the dysfunctional and immoralities of other black women. Well, he said other women, and to stop using the shield of not all, so as to raise any question, so as not to raise any suspicion among the sisterhood of a failure, and also for them to cease attempt at seeking to silence any examination or criticism of their behaviors. All right, so they don't want anything examined. Why? Because they keep doing stuff like this, the false rape, and men have to pay for it. All right, so Rose.
All right, to Nate, let's be clear. He was not guilty of a crime, but it is pathetic what he did do, him and Rose. I ain't got love for any of them. All right, it's beyond what a man is. But then again, these are probably two simps that was raised by this single mother in this adult movie culture, and that's what they conflate as. That isn't even conflated as anything. It's not love. It's not coitus. It's not none of that. All right, that disgusted me about him. All right, but I'm just saying that isn't even what the B-Fems are angry at. That's what they should be angry at. That behavior right there. They're just angry at his new woman, that she's Caucasian. And that's the sorry part. The actual ugly thing that he did, they're not upset at. I'm more upset at what he did to the woman, even though it was consensual. All right. And the false charges as a result of which. All right. I'm more upset at that, what he did to the woman. That he would carry on with another dude. Come on, what is that? All right. But these women, they don't have no love. None. All right. So that's why you need to get the other. This means, everybody, that we're going to make a system where Afro men can thrive and build a family with women that actually love him and create and foster love of children. We have to leave the B-Fems alone, period. Let them hit the wall alone. The only solution.